with ecological economics in Europe from the very beginning, and it has always been a dynamic society and dynamically evolving and open to new ideas and insights, and still interested in sort of theory but getting it also across to society and having a notion of political relevance in its way of doing science and research.
Changing the destructive course humanity and especially Western civilization and countries are taking, I think it's one of the most important social tasks one can contribute. And ecological economics is one of the few, not the only, but one of the few intellectual communities that they are bringing new thinking in what can we do to avoid the big socio-environmental problems that we are creating and are coming up with more intensity in the future. So if you really want to understand how this world works and what you can do to make it a better place, ecological economics is a good discipline to start with.
Well, I see a reason to become ecological economist if you're neoclassical economist. I think that all neoclassical economists have to become ecological economists. So, if you're for environmentalists, for sociologists, ecological economics is something natural and very clear. But for neoclassical economics, well, the reason is the need for a change of mindset, the need for a change of values towards economics and towards natural resources and society.
Well, it depends on you, whether you really care for the well-being of future generations and the well-being of the earth, then you're most welcome. If you don't care about this, then I don't see any reason to become an ecological economist.
I see that policymakers are really trying to look for new tools to be able to solve problems like climate change, which the problems are becoming more complex and the current tools are inadequate, and we need to look outside the traditional type of disciplines. So I think it provides a way forward, but I don't see environmental economics, we've been doing that for the last 30 years or 40 or wherever many years, and it hasn't provided us with a sustainable society.
So to become an ecological economics is a professional risk. So with all the people, we were already professors, Herman Deli or I am younger, but we were already professors or about to become professors. Somebody like Clive Spash, he has not had an easy professional life, moving from place to place, because he's a bit younger. So if you are an established professor, then you can do whatever you want to do in a way. So I'm a professor of economic history, but I can do whatever I want to do. In fact, I do a little bit of history of ecological economics. If you are young, you take a professional risk, it's wrong. But this does not depend. It depends on the economic crisis, and also depends on the general context. I mean, if the Greens go up in Germany, there are more jobs for ecological economists.
Yes, because you will feel uplifted and enlightened, because you will meet so many interesting people, and it will be like a revelation that economics, it is not only the models and the data, but it really relates to the world, and when you learn more about because by being an ecological economist, you will learn about nature, ecology from your colleagues, you will learn about the social interaction, and you will be part of this creative intellectual community, and you will realize that you know more than you thought, because in your economics training your teachers taught you to be very specific, so you forgot all you knew before, but you will relearn, so you will feel more creative, more uplifted, more ready to contribute to the world.
Well, the first reason is that ecological economics is concerned with ensuring that human and non-human nature can live in harmony with one another. Secondly, that ecological economics has important insights into how this might be achieved, which mainstream neoclassical economics does not. But thirdly, ecological economists, ecological economics needs people who go beyond the necessary techniques to look at the social and political conditions needed if those techniques are to be effective.
If you are a person who is not patient with studying and learning and being academic and thinking, and you are more into acting and going out in the world and changing it right now, perhaps studying ecological economics will get you tired.
Yes, I think sometimes we critique too much and we need to provide more the way forward. So what will that look like? What will the alternative look like? But not just, but to articulate that and develop stronger theories which sit underneath that, and then of course embed those within assessment and reporting tools. So.
I don't know what you should become then. I have no answer. Of course, there is a problem in ecological economics, and that is perhaps why I'm speaking about sustainability economics. And that is that there are a lot of ecologists in this International Society for Ecological Economics. And these ecologists are essentially natural scientists, and when they get into the association they look for similarly inclined economists, and then neoclassical economists are also positivists standing outside. They are not admitting that they are political persons themselves. But I think tensions are good in any democratic society, so it's not a big problem.
Well, depends. Like if you don't want to deal with research, and if you don't want to deal with, if you prefer to stay in the realm of the psychology and interpersonal relations, etc. Yeah, you can decide not to become an ecological economist. But no, it's actually hard to avoid it. If you're in a science and if you deal with kind of transformations and transitions, you really have to think about ecological economics, even if you're not ecological economist.
There are no reasons not to become, except if you are, for instance, very good at, at some other things, a very good mathematician, but then you could also become an ecological economist, or apply this to ecological economics. It's difficult to find any type of studies which cannot be useful for ecological economics, even in the humanities, environmental history, for instance, or cultural views about the environment. But this is in the borders of ecological economics. Okay.
Maybe it depends a little bit on your background and whether you need a more confined, some people just, they like a more restricted way of, or a more ordered and structured area of research to settle down in their research. And then it's challenging because it's very wide, always new concepts, new ideas to be checked whether it's possible to link it to your own ways of thinking. So if you need for your own research, your researcher personality, a more restricted view, then ecological economics is challenging for you. You might not become happy with it.
Okay. If you were going to become an ecological economist who merely stuck with the existing techniques of analysis, then you might have a promising academic career, but you wouldn't get very far in really making a difference to the world.
If you're only interested in your own hedonic well-being and only what matters to, what gives you pleasure, like sex, drugs and rock and roll, then no reason to become an ecological economist.
Okay.
Well, you might want to be an ecologist, which would be a wonderful profession, because then you could walk in nature and look at the interesting creatures of nature all the time, and you wouldn't have to be bothered by the figures and so of economics. But on the other hand, you might feel, well, the real struggles, challenges are in society very much influenced by economic thinking. So I think you would feel, well, something is missing. Yeah. So I think you would be happy to be an ecological economist and not just an ecologist. Yeah, and also for Homo economicus, no, I can see no reason, because in the long run, when Homo economicus gets old, he will think, oh, it has been a very boring life. It would have been more fun to be with the ecological economists. Yeah, but you need good friends, because it is terrible to fight alone. Yes, yesterday I had to tell all these young people in the seminar room, because this very smart man, he said, well, when they attack me, I don't know what to say, so I have to say, well, I will give you a number. But I told him, fight back. Tell them what is wrong in their model, and that you can't save the world with just the right number. We have to think more creatively. So, but yes, the disadvantage is you can be very scared in the beginning, because you challenge the power, academic power, political power, economic power, and it's not so fun to do it on your own. But you need friends. But you find good friends in the ecological economics community.